Hello, everybody. This is probably another one of those videos that I'm going to regret if someone ever tries to dox me someday, but here we go. I mentioned a little bit ago that I live in the state of Michigan. And the 2026 election, I imagine, is going to be an interesting one for us as we will be electing a new governor. Our current governor, Gretchen Whitmer, will be coming to the end of her second term and thus will not be able to run again. As it stands right now, there are no obvious contenders for the governor position as far as I can tell. There are a few people, obviously, here and there who have popped up. And there's one person who I would not call a serious contender by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, she is really only running, as far as I can tell, in order to bring more attention to a proposal that she is hoping to have people vote in favor of in 2026. This woman, Carla Wagner, has announced that she is running for governor. But the more important thing when it comes to Carla is she is the biggest advocate for something called AXMITAX, Ax My Tax or Ax Michigan Tax. Now what is that, you may ask? Oh boy. No beating around the bush, long story short, this woman wants to abolish property taxes. I don't think I need to explain to you why that is a bad idea, but property taxes, they fund various different things from schools to roads, which is a big conversation in Michigan and a big factor here. One thing about living in Michigan is you will hear a common joke about how our roads are awful. We don't have the best roads. And so there's always a lot of talk about fixing the roads, which comes back down to property taxes. So one of the things that Carla Wagner will argue is that the property taxes are not going towards fixing our roads, so where are they going towards? Yes, oh my god, Carla Wagner is a Doge head, okay? She is a Doge head through and through. She wants Doge in Michigan. She wants to get rid of fraud, waste, and abuse in Michigan, and in her opinion, property taxes are fraud, waste, and abuse.
I mean, this is taking away the main tool that local governments use to raise revenue. It's about a $15 billion hole collectively in local government revenue. Michigan doesn't let local governments impose a sales tax or an income tax outside of cities. Would you like to see either of those things change to address this issue that you're raising around how do local governments?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you talk about a $15 billion hole. What is President Trump teaching us at the federal level? How much waste is there? So if there's trillions of dollars of waste at the federal level, there's billions of dollars of waste at the state level, millions of dollars of waste at the county level, hundreds of thousands of dollars of waste at the township level.
You just made that up.
I wasn't going to do a video about this because this hasn't gotten a lot of attention so far, and I hope it stays that way. But I did get a little scared because when I was driving around today, I actually saw a lawn sign for Ax My Tax. It had AXMITAX on it, and I got scared. I'll admit, I got worried because I don't want this to gain motion. I don't want this to gain momentum. I think this is a terrible idea, and I will tell you, I have skin in the game, okay? I will get into that later, but I have skin in the game. I think this is a terrible idea, and I wanted to play a clip for you of Carla Wagner. When asked about funding public schools, Carla Wagner had this to say.
I think what I want to address, number one, is that we have a declining enrollment in public schools. So if the enrollment is declining, why are we building more schools? Why has
because that doesn't have anything to do with the age of the building. I mean, if you're losing kids.
But think about buildings in Europe. They're way, way older than what these buildings are here. So are you telling me that a 30 or a 40 or a 50-year-old building here in Michigan is built so badly? That tells me the government shouldn't be involved in building.
What building in Europe are you referring to?
Think of any of the buildings in Europe. They're hundreds of years old. They're hundreds of years old, and they make them work. We build buildings here, and then 20 years or 30 years later, we say, oh, that needs to be a new building. I don't think so. And you know what? Buildings don't educate the kids. My mom and dad went and they were educated in a one-room schoolhouse up until the 6th grade, and then they went into a junior high and a high school after that. And they're smarter than whips. I'm just saying the decline in public school enrollment, there's more and more kids that are going to Christian school, private schools, charter schools, and are being homeschooled. And yet we are funding the public school fund as though those kids are still going there. When you have Christian and private schools that can fund themselves on tuition and donations and no state money, there's no reason why the state can't tighten their belt or the schools have to tighten their belt. You also understand that the more pressure you put on the property taxpayers, what's happening to millages? They're turning them down. They're going to turn them down anyway. So unless you create a different revenue stream to provide for those monies, the millages are going to get turned down left and right. And then where are they going to get the money then for those school improvements? Because people are just done with property taxes.
Yeah, so not the brightest. I don't know what to say to this. Her argument is literally, we have charter schools, we have private schools, public school enrollment is down, we should not be funding public schools. That was her argument, because public school enrollment is down, which I don't even know if that's true. I would have to look that up. But because of that, we should not be funding public schools anyway. And so we should abolish property taxes. That's her line here. To me, this woman shouldn't even be taken seriously, but obviously there are people out there who are taking her seriously and want to do away with property taxes. I personally am currently dealing with the risk of foreclosure due to property taxes. I have been dealing with this for a while now, and even that being said, I don't think we should abolish property taxes, especially considering that in the state of Michigan, there are so many points along the way that you can receive help. For example, my county, and I don't know exactly how this works for all counties, but my county has a program in which the county will match my payments after 6 months of making payments on the property taxes. The county will then match the payments in order to help us pay off the property taxes. That is a fairly incredible thing given all the circumstances and everything that has to take place in order for you to even get to this point. That does not mean that it is not devastating for someone to lose their house because of foreclosure. It obviously is. My point is that in Michigan, at the very least, there are a lot of points along the way in which you can receive help for that. Carla Wagner doesn't want to raise sales taxes. She wants to raise the amount of sales taxes that go towards these different things. Still, something that I think ultimately at the end of the day is going to result in not great financial straits for Michiganders. And we would be the first state in the union to abolish property taxes. In the interview I watched, they asked Carla the exact question I was thinking, which was this.
Very quickly, if you get this ballot proposal voted on and approved by the people, we would be the first state to totally eliminate property tax. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe that's the fact that it hasn't been done anywhere else is because it's not a great idea?
Well, I see multiple states are working on it. You know, just Governor DeSantis is looking at property tax elimination of some sort. I think, and I'm not, because I'm not sure if he's talking about the state portion of property tax or if he's talking about the whole state's property tax. We've seen governors in multiple states have done reform. They've already done reform of their property taxes. You know, every state they collect property taxes differently and they use their property taxes in different methods, right? Or different ways.
And the answer is, yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. That's why no one's done it. But she's stupid and doesn't realize that it's a bad idea. She's such a MAGA head. Like, she is actually a MAGA, a Donald Trump, a Doge head. Like, that's her whole thing. Which is why the prospect of her becoming governor is a little terrifying, but I don't expect it to happen. I'm more worried about her property tax proposal at this point. I really just wanted to touch on that because I saw that lawn sign and a part of me was like, oh my god, this is an actual thing that doesn't exist on the internet. Like, I have to actually contend with this in real life. So I am doing this video. If any of you live in Michigan, talk to people make sure that they're not gonna vote for this shit, because this is a bad idea. This is bad for Michigan. This is bad for all of us. Just listen to Carla Wagner speak about this and come away asking yourself, were you truly convinced by her argument? The answer will probably be no. And if the answer is yes, I'm a little worried about you. I'm not gonna lie. I really did just want this to be a very quick video. I'm working on another video right now, which will kind of be my first attempt at a not long form video, because it's not a long video, but a more scripted, focused on a specific topic type of video. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I think it's decent. I don't think it's going to be the best video one could make on this topic, but I think it'll be a decent video, and I hope that you guys will at least enjoy it. Once again, I'm being a little too honest to a fault here, because why am I knocking my video before it even comes out? Bad business play, bad marketing, I know. Also, something I want to start doing is, I think I'm going to dedicate Sundays for fun videos. So if there's not a fun topic that I want to cover, I'll probably just do some video games or something. But for Sundays, expect less news, less political stuff, more fun stuff. If that's your kind of thing, you can watch them. They'll either be chill gaming videos or just me blabbering about some silly shit. If that's not your thing, you can skip them. I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself. Give the video a like for me, leave a comment, do all that lovely stuff for the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button. I am currently 6 subscribers away from reaching my goal of 100 before the end of the summer. So if you would like to help me reach that goal, if you would like to help me make that number go up, I love it when number go up, you love it when number go up, then please, by all means, hit that subscribe button. Other than that, that's really all I had for you. So once again, take care of yourself, free Palestine, and goodbye.